What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am here with a hopefully quick video about every Carryology Hero Clip that has been made. I just received the 4 new ones that just came out in the 2 different colorways. This is version 3, and we're just gonna have a look at all of the different versions over time. And just for fun, we're actually going to pick a single one as the best of them all. So let's start with version 1. I'm actually not even going to attempt to pronounce the name of this, as I will only butcher it, but I'll throw the name on the screen as an overlay. This is the first one. It is black aluminum. The intent was that this would be an essential that gets restocked. However, in the end, HeroClip ended up getting acquired by Gear-Aid, and so this is kind of a one and done, even though it is in the same aluminum as is currently being done. Now, I'm a big fan of this. It's very clean. It's blacked out. It says Carryology Hero Clip, has a very cool pattern. And if you don't know about Hero Clips, the first time I saw one of these, I had no idea what it was for. I thought it looked very large and honestly a little bit silly until I understood its use case. And it basically is to do this and ultimately hang the Hero Clip somewhere like that with your bag attached below. And this point swivels. You technically could hang other objects like a bicycle or gear, but really you keep this attached to your bag. And if you're in a public restroom, that's kind of the #1 use case for this. You can break this out, hang this on a hook, and have your bag dangling below, and it keeps your nice, beautiful bag from touching the super grody floor. So overall, an incredibly useful product, even if its use case is rather niche. And this one, being the first one and as clean as it is, I think, a winner in my book. From a weight perspective, this thing weighs in at 2 ounces dead even. Now that actually makes it pretty funny when we look at version 2. This is a special edition made in titanium. Very similar look and feel design-wise, same logo and branding, Carryology Hero Clip. A different pattern on the top. And it is kind of raw titanium. I mean, I don't know if there's a finish to this or not, but it's definitely not painted. It is just kind of the raw material. I think that does make this one a little bit more durable in terms of use, real world use. You could see if you look close at this one that I have used, the edges are a little bit beat up, and that sort of thing won't happen to the titanium one because there's no paint over the top of it. This one, funny enough, being titanium, which you would think would be a little bit lighter, actually weighs in at 2.9 ounces. And on the whole, it's kind of silly because titanium is known for its strength and durability, as well as how light it can be relative to its strength. But this weighs more, and it actually kind of has a weak point, as it were, with this polymer connector here. So that's going to be the weak point regardless, although this one I do believe has a max load of 70 pounds, whereas this one says max load of 60 pounds. I'm not sure why there's a difference. I would think the breaking point would be the polymer connector regardless. So that's those two, and this is actually what they look like in the original packaging. You can see it was actually designed to be sort of sacrificial and non-reusable, so once you open it, you know that it's open. There's no getting it back in. There's rivets in place, and once you get this thing out of the package, there's no way to make it look new again. That's true for both the first one and the second one. You'll see here when we go to these new ones that are actually offered in 2 colors, orange and black, and 2 sizes, large and small, that they actually went with plastic bags, which is kind of nice. It makes more sense. It's a little bit reusable. You gotta watch out for returns, I guess, if someone were to use one of these and beat it up. But if someone were to try it out and not like it, they could return it, and you don't need to worry about kind of repackaging it, as it were. Now, when Gear8 acquired HEROCLIP, my biggest gripe with the Gear8 HEROCLIPs is that they were no longer branded HEROCLIP, they were branded Gear8. And just as a logo, just as a name, HEROCLIP looks and sounds way cooler than Gear8. So when Carryology came out with this version 3, I was very curious as to what the branding was going to be like, because I really definitely much prefer Carryology HEROCLIP to Gear8 Carryology. I think on the whole they actually did a really nice job with this. The Gear8 isn't as obnoxious as I feared it was going to be, although I will say this logo that they put into the polymer, I mean, I just much prefer it to be clean. I like the clean look, no logo there. There's just a lot more going on, as you can see here, but I'm honestly not mad at it. I think this new one actually looks quite nice. Everything is more pronounced. You can see the fonts are larger, the pattern is larger, there's extra branding in the logos, everything is bolder. So, you know, this new one kind of pops a bit more, but in terms of personal preference, I could see going either way on this. This is interesting. The back side of this is actually clean. There's no branding there at all. So for all of the extra branding and boldness on the front, the rear is actually cleaner, so to speak. The other thing here, well, let's actually weigh this. I'm curious. I would expect this to come in at a similar 2 ounces, and let's see if it does. Comes in at exactly the same 2 ounces as version 1. Now, the other thing here is there is a smaller version, and the first 2 were a size medium. The one I just looked at is a size medium. I've never used a size small, and I'm not sure how useful it is. It is very significantly smaller. The word cute comes to mind, but it otherwise is the same. You can see the polymer connector there, very substantially different in overall size. Let me actually get a ruler. I want to be able to see how large these are kind of back to back. Okay, dimension wise, we're looking at about just over 3.5 inches tall by about 3 inches wide for the medium versus about 3 inches tall by about two and a little over 1/4 inches wide. From a weight perspective, this small one weighs in at 1.2 ounces, so about 60% of the large. How useful is it going to be? I think it can be actually just as useful for the primary use case that I was saying of holding a bag, because this should be able to do that just as well. A bag handle should be able to fit in here. I actually think this is low-key going to be the one to get if you don't care about kind of showing off. I mean, honestly, these have kind of become a piece of EDC flair, so to speak. These titanium ones are going for $125 on the regular. I paid $135 for one of the ones that I have, whereas these new ones can be had for $35. So unless you're trying to show off, really, there's no point in buying the previous generation, except to say they will never do this titanium again. And that's the sort of thing that, just kind of like my fireproof pack, it's completely unnecessary, but it's so unique and so cool, and it doesn't actually break the bank to just have one, where if you wanted one, why not? Just splurge a little bit. You only live once, go ahead and enjoy it. The last ones to check out here are the orange colorway. And I mean, it's orange, it's advertised as orange, it comes across as almost a bit of a red. It is very nice. I like the contrast. I like the 2 different colors. The inside color is kind of almost in line with the titanium. I mean, not really, it's a completely different shade, but kind of throws back to the titanium versus the black one. Interesting for sure. And then the last one we have here is the small in the orange colorway. And again, that's interesting as well. No, I guess the shades are the same. So I think that about does it. As a offering goes, this one I'm sure is going to scratch a huge itch because people have basically been clamoring for another collab of these. These are in such high demand and the previous iterations have been long gone, and so I am sure that this is going to sell like hotcakes. It is going to be restocked, which is awesome. Overall, this is such a fabulous product. I highly recommend it. But now for the fun part, we got to choose one to win it all. And I have to be honest, as good as this one is, and as much as I think it is a fantastic substitute for the previous first two, if I had to pick one to win and give it the nod, I'm gonna go with the first generation. Yes, the aluminum is the same, but I much prefer CARRYOLOGY HEROCLIP branding to Gear-Aid CARRYOLOGY. I think this pattern is nice. I think the font being a little bit more subtle is nice. I totally get the appeal of a titanium one that they're never gonna do again, but they're also never gonna ever brand a black one like this again. And between the two, objectively, in terms of which one I think looks better, I think the first one just looks better. So this guy wins. That does it for this video. Curious to know what you think. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Would love to hear from you. That's all I've got for this one. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you at the next one soon.